so goofy. Like everyone, it's getting worldwide views now, and so it's just been kind of fun to see. But honestly, I've been like dying in my bed, so I haven't really seen. My mom's keeping me up to date on everything, but it's funny, it's cool. I didn't even mean for it to blow up like that, but you know, the internet does what the internet.
That is the clip that swallowed the entire internet this week. The Statue of Liberty, the White House, brands, all of it. Everybody grabbed that. Almost nobody grabbed the sentence she says about 4 minutes later, in the same room, on the same afternoon. Because once you catch that one, it stops being cute, and you start hearing exactly who it might have been aimed at.
Thunder. You know, I think everyone around the world is posting it. Every company has done it. They're just the ones that also get on board, and so I don't really think twice about it. I think they're just another group who is posting about it.
I think our fans voted a lot of players in the top 40, which just shows how much they care.
Oh, no.
But
Let me back up for anyone who somehow missed how we even got here. On June 22nd, the Fever beat the Phoenix Mercury 86-77 in a genuinely chaotic game. 5 technical fouls, an ejection, tempers boiling over. Late in the fourth, Caitlin Clark and Duwana Bonner got tangled up, and Sophie Cunningham stepped in, started arguing to the ref that Bonner deserved a technical too, and pointed at her, then kept pointing, for more than 20 seconds. And it mattered that it was Bonner, a former Fever player, who left and is now on the other side, so there was already history in that stare-down. That freeze frame turned into the single biggest meme of the WNBA season. Fans recreated it, companies built marketing around it, and on June 30th, the actual White House posted a version of it. So when she sits there and says every company has done it and the White House is just another account that got on board, she is not exaggerating one bit. That right there is what crossing over into the mainstream actually looks like. And hold on to that word, mainstream, because everything that happens next only happens because this league finally got big enough for the whole country to be watching, arguing, and in some cases, doing a lot worse than arguing.
My bad.
How are you feeling after a few days away?
well,
I'm just
it's not like
I'm feeling a little tired.
I'm like dying in my bed, so I haven't really seen. My mom's keeping me. You know, I think everyone around the world is posting it. Every company has done it. They're just the ones that also get on board, and so I don't really.
So she is loose here, cracking jokes, calling it goofy, telling reporters she had been sick and out of practice for a couple of days, and her mom is the one keeping her updated on the memes. Totally relaxed about all of it. And I want to sit on that for a second, because there is a detail underneath the jokes that reframes this whole press conference. Sophie Cunningham is not just some player laughing off a little online noise. According to reporting from Outkick, an Indianapolis man was recently charged and accused of stalking Cunningham and threatening a Pacers security executive who stepped in to intervene. That is a criminal case, not a mean tweet. So the person sitting up there most relaxed about the hate, most willing to shrug and say it comes with the job, is someone who has reportedly already dealt with a version of this that spills off the phone and into real life. Keep that in your back pocket, because it is going to matter a lot when we get to what she says about how players are supposed to handle all of it.
I have no idea.
Named All-Star starters, how excited are you for them?
Yeah, I think it's well deserved. I think our fans voted a lot of players in the top 40, which just shows how much they care. But I'm proud of them. I think that it's all very well deserved, and you know, they're going to go out there and do their thing. Hopefully they have a lot of fun, and hopefully fans come out.
Here she is talking about teammates getting recognized, fan voting, players landing on the league's anniversary list. And it sounds like a harmless little moment. Congrats to everybody, well deserved. But that voting is its own powder keg right now. This same stretch of the season handed us a wave of snubs and omissions that lit the fan base on fire. Caitlin Clark, the single biggest name this sport has ever produced at the gate and on television, got left off a WNBA anniversary poster, and Cunningham herself publicly questioned how something like that even happens. There were all-star snubs that had entire fan bases furious for days. So when she says the fans voted a lot of players in and it shows how much they care, read the subtext. This is a fan base that is intense, that is emotionally invested, that will go to war in the comment section over a poster. And that intensity is the engine behind everything good happening to this league. It is also the engine behind everything ugly. You do not get one without the other. And that exact tension is the thing the coaches and the players are now openly, publicly disagreeing about.
I know you haven't been here the last few days, but this break here heading into the game on Sunday, how can you guys use this break here to get back in the swing of things?
Like you said it, I haven't really been here. I know that things haven't really changed. I think we're still going pretty hard. I think we're going to go hard again today. We're just one of those teams that we just can't take days off. We don't have the ability to do that. We just have to keep stacking our days, which is great. And so I guess
This part is just her being a competitor. The Fever cannot take days off. They have to stack days. They are grinding toward a Sunday game. Standard athlete talk, nothing to see. But watch what happens the moment a reporter stops asking about basketball and starts asking about the darker side of all this attention. This is Clark's second year in the league. The spotlight has never been hotter, and the pressure around this team is unlike anything the W has dealt with before. So the very next question is a serious one, about what the league actually does to protect its players from the flood of hate online. And her answer to that question is the sentence I told you to wait for. The one nobody clipped. The one that, if you know what happened just 3 days earlier in that same building, becomes almost impossible to hear as an accident.
3 days.
What resources does the league provide for you guys as players to kind of help you try to filter through some of the hate and negative things that come through on social media?
I think that honestly, I don't know what our league does to help with that. If they really do anything, you can put out statements as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you're in an entertainment business.
There it is. You can put out statements as much as you want, but you are in an entertainment business. On its own, that is just a blunt opinion. So here is why it does not sit on its own. 3 days before this, on July 1st, Cunningham's own head coach, Stephanie White, opened her press conference by doing exactly that, putting out a statement. White stood up and forcefully condemned the harassment aimed at Alyssa Thomas after the Clark incident, called it absolutely unacceptable, named the racism and the homophobia in the discourse head-on, and flat out told people that if they are the ones doing this, they should not call themselves WNBA fans. And this was not some detached corporate note. White actually coached Thomas back in Connecticut, so she was going to bat for a former player of hers. It got wall-to-wall coverage. And now, here is her guard, same building, days later, telling a reporter that you can put out statements all you want, but it will not matter, because this is the entertainment business. Now, some people online were convinced the Fever were even editing these press conferences to bury this kind of thing. And I want to be clear, that part is not true. The full footage is out there from the beat reporters. Nothing was hidden. She said it on camera, in the open, for everyone to hear, which honestly almost makes it louder.
That's when mental toughness comes in. If you're going to live by praise, you're going to die by the hate. And so I think that's on the individual person to have mental toughness. Some people can deal with it, some people can't. And I think you can see the ones who can. And unfortunately, there are some who can't. And it's not beneficial to them. But you can't control what other people say or what other people do.
And then she doubles down. Mental toughness. Live by the praise, die by the hate. Some people can handle it, some people cannot, and you can see which ones can. Sit with how far apart that is from what the coach said. Stephanie White's entire frame was that this hate is an outside attack, something being done to the players by people using the league to push their own agendas, and that the correct response is to name it, condemn it, and demand better from the culture around the team. She even allowed for nuance, that basketball comes with a love-hate relationship between fans and players. Sophie Cunningham's frame is almost the mirror opposite. This is the cost of doing business. It is on the individual. Build the toughness or you will not survive it. Two people, same locker room, same week, describing the same problem in completely opposite language. And it is not just the coach on White's side. A veteran leader in the players' union pushed back too, pointing out that plenty of real fans still get pulled into the ugliness, so you cannot just wave it off as outsiders. Now, is it fair to call Sophie's take shots at her own coach? Let me argue the other side honestly, because she earned that. She never says White's name. She never references the statement. Live by praise, die by the hate is a cliche every athlete has said in some form. You could absolutely watch this and conclude she is just a naturally blunt person laying out her honest philosophy, aiming at nobody at all. That is a real reading. But timing is everything in this stuff, And the timing here, landing days after the most talked about statement of the week from the exact person she plays for, is why so many people heard a subtweet instead of a shrug.
All you can do is control yourself, how you treat people, speak up, and support people who, maybe don't have a voice or don't have the courage to do that. But, it's one of those things. You're in the entertainment business and you have to expect it.
And then, right here, she complicates her own story, which is why I do not think this is as simple as player versus coach. Because in the middle of all that toughen up talk, she says something that sounds a whole lot like her coach. Speak up, support the people who do not have a voice or who do not have the courage to use it. That is not a cold take. That is basically the same value White was pushing: protect the people getting hurt. So Sophie is not purely telling everyone to shut up and take it. She is saying, build the armor for yourself, and then use your platform for the ones who cannot. And into this exact split walks a third voice, Caitlin Clark. Because on Friday, July 4th, Clark spoke out too, and she landed right in the middle of the two of them. Clark said plainly that the harassment and the hate aimed at her teammates, her coaches, and even her opponents is not okay. None of it. But she also said criticism of how you play is just part of professional sports, and the line only gets crossed when it turns into an attack on someone's character or their identity. She even sounded frustrated that the whole Thomas story had dominated coverage for days, calling it a disservice to the rest of the league. So now you have three people on one team drawing three slightly different lines in the sand, all in the same week.
How do you try to filter through some of that stuff, or you just avoid it?
I don't know if you guys don't know, but I don't care. I don't care. And I think that's with the good stuff, like the meme, I think that's funny and it's cool, but it's not my whole identity, and that's what I'm.
I do not care. She says it twice. The memes are funny, but they are not her whole identity, so she just does not care. And on the surface, honestly, good for her. That is a healthy way to move through the world. But this is exactly where the whole philosophy slams into a wall. Because remember what set this entire conversation off in the first place. It was not jokes. Alyssa Thomas said she received death threats and racist abuse after that June 24th game, the one where the league upgraded her foul on Clark to a flagrant 2 and suspended her for a game. And here is the part that really cuts against the just do not care approach. The league actually says it has added security tools and mental health resources to monitor exactly these kinds of threats. So the answer to that reporter's question is not really nothing. There is a system, which means telling everyone to simply have more mental toughness quietly lets that system off the hook. And remember, Cunningham herself, the one telling everybody not to care, is reportedly the subject of a criminal stalking case. You cannot mental toughness your way through a death threat. You cannot stay in your lane past someone showing up in real life. And that is the hole in the tough it out philosophy. It works great for memes and mean comments, and it does almost nothing for the genuinely dangerous part, which is the exact part Stephanie White stood up to address.
Thriving out? No, it's not. I think it's funny. But yeah, I just don't care. I think people are funny, people are dumb, and, they let them do them. I'm just going to stay in my lane.
People are funny, people are dumb. Let them do them. Stay in her lane. And that is where she leaves it. So here is where all of this is actually headed. On Sunday, July 5th, the Fever go on the road to face the Las Vegas Aces. And Caitlin Clark, still dealing with that back injury, will not play. Cunningham's own status was up in the air after being sick all week. So this team walks into a big road game short-handed, in the middle of a season where the coach, the franchise star, and the loudest personality in the locker room are all publicly on different pages about how to handle the storm swirling around every one of them. And that is the real story nobody clipped. Not the pointing, not the Statue of Liberty. It is a team quietly split on one question: is the hate an attack to be condemned or a cost to be absorbed? So I am handing this one straight to you. Do you think Sophie Cunningham was just keeping it real and telling the honest truth about pro sports? Or do you think she stood at that podium and quietly threw her own head coach under the bus 3 days after that coach went to war for the entire team? Tell me exactly which one down in the comments. Hit that like button if you want the follow-up the second Clark and White respond, and subscribe so you do not miss it, because this one is nowhere close to over.